In the Villabrejo system, in the illustrational system, usually the first thing you start off with is a flat stick. Because if you use a flat stick, you can jump into any weapon, regardless of the shape. You can start off any segment of the Filipino martial art. You can start with dagger first, or you can start with staff first. It doesn't really matter.
More like guidelines than rules?
Yeah, it's guidelines, rules, and principles. I'm going to show you 4 variables. The second one is what we call pull and strip, which is like that. The third one, okay, is that the puño will be under the arm, is what we call half. And the fourth one is you take it out on the top. Okay, so we'll begin for review. See, when you do this and you hit, okay, this is the full snake. So it goes to the full snake motion and you hit. As the other one is what we call pull and strip, and usually is done with the kick. Okay, and then the other one over here, the next two, the puño is under the arm. That's the puño, and it's under the arm. And you can keep it or let it fly out. And the third one, fourth one rather, is when you hit, this comes on top of the hand. And you can catch it or review. These are the most common ones that you should know. All right. Any questions on that? See, that's like that. It's going to be here. It's going to be a hit here. And a lot of people, they like to hit on the forehand side. See, and then take it out on the bottom here like that. And then the other ones, see, a lot of people hit this way with the forehand side first. Okay. And then there's some people that hit strictly on the backhand side. See, and then they take it here. And some people hit on the backhand and the forehand side and then take it out. Okay. So you have that option. Okay. So on the pull and strip particularly, see, some people like to do it like that. They go like that, switch, and they thrust like that. See, then they give out, which will give us your number 5 if you use the thrust. Okay. See, all of them, like people say, can you use this in sparring? Yes, if you're good. No, if you're not good. It's always been that way, you know. It's like, should I shoot from 15 feet out in basketball? Is it good or bad? If you're Michael Jordan, 15 feet is good. If you're not a Michael Jordan, you better get a little closer, maybe 3 feet, 6 feet. So a lot of this is dependent upon your ability, and then usually it's dependent upon who's in front of you. If he's not any good, you can do it. But if he's good, he will limit you to the choice of technique. That's all it boils down to. I was watching some videotapes and they said, oh, don't use the inside block, it won't work. Well, the inside block will work, but not in tournament. Because tournament, you're fresh. A lot of times those matches used to go on, the warfare used to go on for 45 minutes. The stick gets fast in the beginning, but pretty soon after 45 minutes, the stick starts going and slow as well. Just like you hit the heavy bag here for 10 minutes, just 10 minutes. And just instead, that's something with the adrenaline pumping. It'll let me go, bap, 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 bap. 2 minutes out, it's going, bap, 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 bap. 4 minutes out, you go, bap, bap, bap. So it'll go slower. That's why disarms are easy, because people get tired. And combat in those days lasted, could be anywhere from 10 minutes of the skirmish to up to 45 minutes, maybe even an hour. So people did get tired. And then you can, as in the tournament, this guy is fresh for a 1 minute or 2 minute of the round. So the game is different. Okay? And a lot of people can take punishment. If you take punishment, then you can stay in longer with the person. And there's so many different variations. And I think it's usually because when people say this system is better than that, so I don't really think so. I think it's just that people will gravitate to the movements. And not everything in the Villabrejo system will work 100% for us, even though Villabrejo was a great fighter. Like 200 some matches, stick fighting matches, 20 ring fights. That's a lot of matches. A lot of people don't even have that in a lifetime. But even his techniques take great timing, like Villabrejo's first technique. Is right here. Most people like see he just went about that far. Palm, see? But a lot of times if we try that, it will probably be like that. Ponk. But he had the timing. The technique isn't good or bad, is that he could do it. Right? And it's true. Wrestling the same way. So somebody, what do you like better, single leg tackle or double leg tackle in wrestling? It will depend on who is in front of you, and it depends on your capability to pull off the techniques the same way here. But this is now to show you what is possible within the framework of those sectors. All right, any questions now? That's sector 3. So this is 1, 2, 3. So the first one is what? The full snake. The second one is what we call pull and strip. Okay. The third one is what we call half snake, because the stick is about 6 o'clock. And we either pull here or we pull here. And the next one is switch and thrust. You pull up at this and then take it down like that. That's all you do. All right. Any questions up there? So we're in sector number 3 if it's number 1. Okay, now, the same sectors will apply for 1. Do it like this, okay? Will apply for 2, sector 1. The principle is still the same, right? But usually your choice movement for a number 2, if, a number 1 angle, if it's backhand, is the first one. Because it's going to be, so you and the same basic if I hit this way, same basic. If you hit the head, it's going to do something. That's why traditionally in the collie, as you already know, the sticks were flat or they were bladed weapons. See? And there's a difference if you have here, and he hits me with this. There's a difference. This is going to, see, the impact point. See, this thing here, that means a difference. The round stick is the training stick. The flat stick is the fighting stick. A lot of Filipinos like this over even the blade. So all you have to do is adapt the blade that you're using. That's why a lot of systems, they use what they call the long knife or the short sword, because in jungle terrain it's more efficient. You can maneuver it around. And if you have a strip and a lot of open space, long range, but that's why the system for close quarter, because it was usually in brush, it was usually in heavily binded jungles, usually aboarding ships and things of that nature. But that's the flat stick. So that's why in the Villabrejo system, in the Illustrational system, usually the first thing you start off is a flat stick. Because if you use a flat stick, you can jump into any weapon, regardless of the shape. And that's why you will never, see, the Filipinos, they're not organized like the Chinese. The Chinese and Japanese are far more superior in organization. The Filipinos are like, the Japanese system is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They're really organized. Filipinos are not. They go number 15, number 2, number 45, number 40. But what's so funny is that it just goes like this. It starts to mesh up, see? And that's why I've always tell people that, I can say that because I'm Filipino, but another Filipino guy, he might get upset. But they're very, very casual.
That doesn't upset me, man.
But some people, but their system is kind of it's a relaxed atmosphere. It doesn't have what we call, there's a protocol, there's a systematic system, but it's a system of systematic that's non-systematic. But it turns out to be like this. It's pretty much self-exploration. But they'll start off. Like you can start off any segment of the Filipino martial art. You can start with dagger first, or you can start with staff first. It doesn't really matter.
More like guidelines than rules?
Yeah, it's guidelines, rules, and principles. Right? They have no patience. This is what a lot of people, my father told me this. They have no patience, like even in warfare. Provided it's always in the beach, it's in the jungle, in the open sea. They have no patience for fort work. That's why the Spanish were very, very safe, as long as they stayed inside the fort in the southern Philippines. Okay? Because after 3, 4, 5, even in history, you'll read, they would be winning the battle against the Dutch, and then they would lose interest and go on and try to fight the English, then sail over here and fight the French over here, which goes to the French Indochina, and then they'd go back and fight their own trouble. They had no, there was no rules. Their interest. It's just like a little kid that's flipping on the TV, channel 18, no, let's go back to channel 7. No, let's go back to, it's something like that. They just, and the art is like that too. Like Picasso, when he taught, he says, well, he would just get tired of teaching this. It's the same thing. You would go to double stick without even concentrating, because he felt the principles will still carry on. Okay, so over here, can you remember this now? This is sector 3. And the components is you want to touch your wrist to his wrist and get the hit. There are systems that do it like this. See? But see, that should be right on the eye when you do it, if you're going to do it like that. So the switch should be, usually the tempo shot is here, right? And if you switch, make sure you get another shot here, see? And then that's your full snake. That's the easiest. And only do this for the stick, okay? All right, and then the other one, when you switch, see, is more for bladed weapon, because you go on the edge of the side of the blade, and you do it this way, or you do it this way. This one here, if you're sharp enough, like Lacoste says, you can do it with the blade. I wouldn't do it with the blade. That's more of a stick technique. Okay. And this is more when they use the floret. See, they come right here. See the hand? It's in the Adam's apple, and they just pull it like that. Okay. Those are probably the most practical ones if you're going to pull it off at all. Okay. Any questions up here? This is all the disarms. in sector 3. There are more, but that's sector 3. Okay, let's try it up there, okay?